Welcome to the Happiness Alchemy podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Goody. Stay with me for expansion, activation, and awareness on your spiritual journey through life and business. Ascension Awareness Guidance for the week of March 19th. Watch out for animal guides this week, as they will be helping you to focus on the present and really handle what's immediately in front of you in a grounded, balanced way to avoid the often chaotic task of self-initiation, which is what we are stepping into this week as Mercury goes retrograde. So Mercury's going retrograde midweek, and I absolutely love this time. Some people are a little bit fearful of this Mercury retrograde time, but just allow yourself to feel into it. It's a beautiful time to be working with your shadow, a beautiful time for healing, a beautiful time for clarity. So as I mentioned, we're going into Mercury retrograde midweek. So already on Monday, we're starting to feel this energy, and we're starting to be reminded of areas that we have to heal and overcome. So areas of our shadow to really be working on this week. There's plenty to be working on, but this doesn't mean that there's no time for fun. In fact, it's the exact opposite. So this is why I found it really, really wonderful that the spirit animal guides are coming in this week, because it really is a time for this grounded, focused play, but at the same time balancing it out with getting a lot of healing and clarity coming in. So our animal guides this week are really poking a little bit of fun at our journey and asking that we lighten things up, that we detach from this drama and remember that the magic is within us. It can be so easy to feel sorry for ourselves whenever we're moving through our shadow, feeling like, oh God, there must be something wrong with me. Why haven't I managed to achieve this or that? Why have I not changed my habits or stopped this pattern? Why can't I just figure it out already? So we can get all wrapped up in this drama and feeling like, we have to suffer. We have to go through all these things. So these spirit animals are really coming in this week to break it up a little bit. So it really brings a lot of opportunity, the energy that's coming in this week, figuring things out from a higher perspective, but also being aware. So we can figure things out and we can understand things from a higher perspective. But sometimes we don't necessarily bring those down and integrate those into our daily lives. So that's a big message coming through this week, is pulling down the lessons and integrating it into our daily lives through mindfulness and through choosing actions and thoughts that are really empowering us and aligning us to who we are at a soul level. So it's really easier to do that than you might realize. So it might sound like, this huge thing, but with some practice, it's actually quite easy to do this with mindfulness, right? It's a practice. Of course, it's not perfection. So we have this obvious built-in navigation system, our emotions. So whenever we're feeling good, especially, and the animals really wanted me to highlight this, especially if it is accompanied by happy, expansive butterflies in the heart or belly. If we're feeling good and we're feeling this feeling of butterflies in the heart or belly, we're moving in the right direction. Even if we have no sure what the next couple of steps after this are going to be, as long as we are feeling that, moving towards things that allow us to feel that way and trusting in the process, then the pieces of the puzzle are going to start coming together. And speaking of the pieces of the puzzle, this week we really are working with the pieces of the puzzle that we do have, instead of lamenting over the ones that you can't see yet. And the guidance that was brought down this week too is that, just so you know, the pieces of the puzzle are actually sitting under the pillow of doubt that you are sitting on. So they're still there and they're going to come out eventually. So just work with the pieces that you have. And that's really going to empower you to really transform your life at a faster pace than you previously thought possible. So that is the good news. Working with the pieces of the puzzle, any bits of information that you have right now, any ones that feel like absolute truth to you, those butterflies, that happy, expansive feeling, work with those this week. So the keys to keep in mind this week, 5 keys came up to keep in mind. Key number 1, and this is to work with the energy of the week and to really, really make the most of it. Key number 1, keep this in mind. You are magical, okay? Just take a minute and let that soak in. Really, really soak in all that means. And give yourself a little quiet time to tune in this week and ask what your magic feels like, what your particular brand of magic feels like. So just simply breathe and pay attention. Let the feelings of your inner magic light you up from within. And you may be shocked at how bright it is, especially if you've been looking outside of yourself for the light. Key number 2 to keep in mind this week, go with the flow. So, I mean, this is something that is just kind of overused so much, but we have some specifics coming in with it. So tune into your inner child. Ask, how is she calling for love? How is she calling for acceptance? How does she need to be healed? What activities will bring her great joy? Even for the most grounded of goals, even if you're like, I want to manifest this exact amount of money or this particular car or this and that, connecting with your inner child and allowing her healing and happiness will always turn the energy in your favor. So if your grown-up mind, and I know my grown-up mind does this to me often, tells that you don't have time for this or whatever, it's not a priority, tell her she just doesn't understand yet and create the time and space to do it anyway. Play this week. Really important to balance out the heavier shadow energies of Mercury retrograde that we're going into. Key number 3 this week, your intentions are coming closer and closer to fruition. So claim your power this week. So this can be a time where we feel like we've kind of been in the dark for a little bit too long. We feel like we're overcooked and we're kind of like, tapping our foot being like, okay, let's see some progress here. But now is really the time to, instead of kind of looking around at, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this not working? Kind of take it back. Claim your power this week. Feeling into your inner connection in the earth and all that is. And don't be afraid to really look your pure potential in the eye and say, I accept you. Sometimes we have to accept this next level of potential for ourselves in order to fully step into it, fully embody it, and fully bring to fruition the things that we intend. So I am open to more of my divine, heart-centered power now. Repeating that, really allowing your personal power, your heart-centered divine connection to be expanded this week. And this is helping to bring your intentions closer to fruition. Key number 4. Watch out for animals crossing your path. So the animal guides have just been like right there. So any animal that you notice is, mentioned repeatedly or pops into your head, or you see images of it, or you actually see the animal, they are carrying messages for where you're at on your specific path right now in a very grounded, present way. So tune in and ask what their message is, or just Google the spiritual meaning of the particular animal that's coming up for you. And then as you're reading the description for the spiritual meaning of that particular animal, just pay attention to what you feel most called to about the description. So you don't have to pay attention to, everything that comes up on the internet about spiritual meanings of a certain animal, but just really breathe. Again, it's that heart-earth connection and say, what about this applies to me right now, and how can I use it in my own healing and self-initiation process? And you'll find some really cool insights coming up there with spirit animals this week. Key number 5, your love and light are expansive in their potential. Give it to yourself, play with it, and use it to assist others. It is absolutely that simple. So really just getting to know that, what your brand of magic is. Again, it's number 1 and number 5 this week. All right, so I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week. Thanks for tuning in. Visit happinessalchemy.com for your free shamanic journey and to learn about the Happiness Alchemy Sacred Library. Have a magical day.